First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, thank you for joining us wherever it is that you're watching. We appreciate it. We are live streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, on our website, and our apps. And it's every weekday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So I always like to make sure that everybody knows that we're here bringing you all kinds of different segments, news, and coverage of a lot of different topics. Right now, though, we're going to talk about an organization that's going to be having, well, its 14th, I believe, anniversary concert, which is happening, which is called Cover Your Hearts, which is all part of the Jeremy Wilson Foundation. And it's a benefit towards musicians in Oregon, in Clark County, when they're experiencing medical challenges and other issues. To talk all about this and really go into the details, we've got the experts joining us right now. So we have Jeremy Wilson and Lael Alderman joining the show. And guys, I'm really happy to have you on here. This is such an important thing that you're doing, and it sounds like a fun event on top of that. So just to get going, though, if you don't mind, could you each introduce yourselves and just to explain your role in this whole thing?
Sure. I'm Jeremy Wilson. I'm the founder and the director of the Jeremy Wilson Foundation Musician Health and Services Program. I'm one of the organizers over the last 5, 6, 7 years. The show's been going on for a long time, and I'll hand it over to Lael.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, Lael Alderman. I've been fortunate enough to perform in all 14 shows, actually, and it has been great, raising funds over the years for different groups like Ethos or Pair. And it's been really great to connect with the Jeremy Wilson Foundation for the last, handful of shows that we've been doing. We started doing them back in, I think it was 2009 would have been the first one. And it's just so great that people support it and still come out, and we have great fun at these shows.
Lael, thank you very much, too, for explaining that. And also, I just want to say, if I mispronounced if I said the wrong last name at the beginning, I apologize for that. Lael,
I got
it. I don't know why. Anyway, Lael, so talking about, the history of the concert series itself, let's go into that, and then let's go into the Jeremy Wilson Foundation. So let's stick with talking about the history of it and just how this all came about.
Yeah, there's some friends of ours, they were doing it for a long time. They had a band called the Charm Particles back in the 2000s that played around Portland a lot. And I think it was just this love, back in the day before 80s music was really taking off again. And it was still more tongue in cheek. And it was like, man, wouldn't it be great to play that In the Air Tonight, Phil from Phil Collins? Yeah, wouldn't it be great to do a Def Leppard song? And then everybody's like, well, why don't we just do it? And it's always been 4 or 5 bands. Some years we get up to 6. It used to be a 2-night event when we do it at smaller venues, but then as things kind of caught on, we've been able to do one larger night, which is definitely easier on everybody, but it was a lot of fun to span it over 2 nights too. And so what's great though is everybody donates their time. We've always done that for every single show. So 100% of the proceeds for the shows goes to the foundation, and all the musicians donate their time, and we have a great time when we're practicing for it too. So it's almost like a party the whole time leading up to it. And then we get to have the show with everybody else as well.
That's great. Everybody coming together and celebrating that. I mean, I'm sure that's a lot of work to put on over that amount of time too. Like, how have you seen it change over the years and the amount of participation, I guess, from the musician community and the community as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, that's been great because, there have been a lot of bands that have cycled through it, but usually when a band comes to play the event, they've seen it for a year or two. And for better or worse, they know how seriously we take ourselves when we do this. And so all the covers we try to do is as dead on as possible. So, it's not unusual. Like this year, it's a 6-person band that I have, when we have a 3-person horn section, and we have 2 background singers, and, there's 3 or 4 keyboards back there that our people are manning. So just to try to build it as authentically as possible. So people really roll up their sleeves. And I know some bands that start as early as November to get this show going right. And I try to meet on a weekly basis on a Friday night and kind of make a little party of it every week too while we're getting together. So
that's nice, fun, but taking it seriously. I mean, that's a lot of big sound on stage. If you've got 3 horn players, a bunch of keyboardists and backup singers, that's a lot to manage. Even if it is having fun, it's still a lot to work on.
Yeah, I always feel for the sound man when we roll on into a show and they start seeing, okay, this is one. Oh, there's 5 bands that are like this. All right, and always make sure you're giving them a nice drink or two at the end of the night and thanking them along the way for sure.
Definitely want to help those guys out. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely, definitely.
Uh, well, Jeremy, talking about the foundation itself, tell us a little bit more about this and maybe what was the inspiration behind founding this?
Oh, wow. How much time do we have? No. Um, Well, the Jeremy Wilson Foundation was founded in 2010, so we've been around for 14 years now. It was inspired. I've been a lifelong musician. I've been playing professionally, believe it or not, since I was 14 years old. I'm now in my mid 50s. But I was with the band the Dharma Bums, pretty well known group in the area and around the world. But I was undiagnosed with a congenital heart condition, and I didn't find out about it until I was about 40. And the doctors were amazed that I was still alive, and I ended up in the hospital one night. And when the community came around me to help me through the first of 4 heart surgeries I had to have, I was just so touched by the experience, and I learned so much from the experience that when I needed a second heart operation, I was kind of like, hey, everybody, hold on. You know, actually receiving money as a quote unquote donation from folks before the foundation was put together actually impacted my taxes and stuff like that, because musicians are independent contractors, so they work for themselves and there's no safety nets, there's no unemployment when they get hurt. And of course, musicians employ a lot of people. We employ the sound people and the light people and all that goes along with the shows and stuff. So basically kind of hopped into action, came up with the idea of why do we have to reinvent the wheel every time a local musician needs help? Can't we have an umbrella organization where musicians are kind of helping musicians, and we build a fund that's a general fund, an emergency fund? And we did it. And 14 years later, with a first deposit of $350 to start the nonprofit, we got our 501c3 status in a matter of about 11, 12 months. And we were off and rolling, and we've given out over $1.5 million in grants and social services. And yeah, it's a really important program that we run, the Musicians Health and Services Program.
I mean, I think that's pretty incredible. You started off, being a person needing that help, and now you can help everybody else out through founding this and getting everyone involved in doing that. What was the reaction from the community? Or I guess let me phrase this a different way. What has been the reaction just from the musician community since founding this and having this available for them?
Well, I think, it took a few years to kind of get the word out and stuff. And then when the pandemic hit, of course, in 2020, we were able to pivot to actually help more than just people going through health crises, because it was sort of a general health crisis, but the health crisis was everybody losing all their gigs all at once around the world. And so I think, to be quite honest, I would say it's at least every few weeks experience when I'll run into somebody on the street who I've never even met before, but that the program has helped, and I will get tearful hugs. You know, I will get. So the musicians themselves are aware of it. They realize this is like a group savings account or something, that we're all kind of contributing to. And so it's inspired things like, the Cover Your Hearts show, where they reached out to us several years back, and we've really been the recipient now. And the reason the musicians do it is because they're thrilled by the help that they've got. They know that our program is also two-pronged. There are um, there's cash assistance that we pay for, like rent and different things, while they're hopefully getting through their their emergency. But we also have, even more importantly, navigators. They're licensed social workers that work with them to find and locate other financial aid that might be available, and other assistance that might be there for them. And it's been such an incredible journey, Greg, because we help everyone from people going through like a broken arm or a finger or something through or people experiencing the hospice experience. And so it's really an incredible, the whole range,
That
and the musicians, I think, they all pitch in. Hundreds of musicians every year pitch in to make sure
Mhm.
that this is happening.
I mean, that's pretty incredible just for the help, but also just that's got to be an emotional toll as well. But being able to be there to help somebody out going through something like that, and as you mentioned, creators don't really have that safety net necessarily that
Yeah.
that maybe other people could have depending on your career, and that's got to be huge. Lael, switching to you here, talking about Cover Your Hearts.
Yeah.
For the general public out there that may want to come to this outside of just a regular musician who's maybe could directly benefit from it, for the general
Yeah.
public, what can they expect when they come to a Cover Your Hearts event?
But I think it pours over to what Jeremy says. There's just this vibe when you come into the show that it's all for the love of the music. And from the stage, you're always hearing, hey, don't forget to go visit the Jeremy Wilson Foundation booth that's over there. So people, I think, are coming, generally speaking, for a good time. You see some fun 80s covers and things like that. But over the course of the night, there's this education about what the foundation does. And I hope also, exposing folks to bands around town and that it's important to support local music as well. Working musicians in this town, I can't believe that this is still one of those rare towns where you can be a working musician. And so it's they get a taste of the community that we're all a part of, while at the same time just having a great time at the show.
Yeah, the combination of both, and being
Yeah,
able to
it's
do that.
fantastic. Mhm.
It's a sweaty love fest, Greg. That's what it really is.
That's a great description. That's perfect. A sweaty love fest. Anything else, just that you want to let people know about, when it comes to either the foundation? I guess, Jeremy, let's go to you here first. Just letting people know about the foundation and how, if they're not in the musician community and say, they can't attend this, but what's a general way that people can help out musicians in this city?
Well, I would say that the Jeremy Wilson Foundation is a really great starting place. One, of course, going out and seeing live music is like the most important thing you can do. Two, buying music directly from musicians, whether it's, from their websites and directly from them. Those two things are the most important income sources for musicians. The selling of their music, not through iTunes and stuff. Try to get it right right from the musician, order their album. And then, but the thing that has a tremendous impact is we really, 90% of our funding comes from individual donors in Oregon and Clark County, Washington. And and so to go to the website, thejwf.org, and we love you if you put, we love you no matter what, but we really love it when people subscribe to a recurring donation, because that helps us sustain the program. It helps us able to plan what we're able to do in the future, knowing that we've got regular revenue coming in. And the beautiful thing is that we operate with a low overhead. Our social workers are amazing, and we're able to impact the lives of literally hundreds of musicians every year through our navigation and through the grants and services. So go to live shows, buy that music directly from the musicians, and give to the jwf.org, and you'll be doing a good part.
I do have an example here. I believe this is from one of the shows.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, taking a look at some of what people can expect there. So just so you can get a visual idea of what's going on. That's a lot of different outfits and styles I'm seeing there on stage just in one group. I mean,
That's right. We generally dressed as the cast for Back to the Future that year. But,
okay,
I
this
always,
makes sense.
yeah, I always welcome the opportunity to do a few costume changes during the show too. So it wasn't until the very end that I got my Marty McFly costume on for that show. So
Nice, nice. And can you reveal any themes for this year? I don't know if that's possible or if everybody should just go to the show to find out.
yeah, it's so funny because even when we get together and have drinks with the other bands that are playing, nobody wants to know what anybody else is doing. They always want to be surprised by the songs. But I can tell you, generally speaking, my band, we've got a couple Journey songs up our sleeves. We're going to give we got a Wham song. We're kind of all over
Ooh,
the spot, all over the place with the songs we're doing. So,
yeah.
um,
And one thing I'd love to share is that the Get Down is where the show is at the club, the Get Down. It's on February 17th. Um, and doors are at 7:30 and the show will start right at 8:30, but there will be a DJ before and after the show for good times and for partying and stuff. But tickets are exclusively sold through jwfmusic.org. Um, and the great thing about the Get Down letting us sell our own tickets online is that there are absolutely no service fees involved with getting your tickets in advance, which means that 100% of the ticket price is going to the programs and services that we provide. And I'm just letting everybody know there's about 150 tickets left. So get a move on and get your tickets.
Get your
excellent.
tickets. Yeah, and February 17th, like you said. So that's when the event is. So get your tickets there at the foundation. And Jeremy and Lael, thank you very much for joining us to talk about this and the work that you're doing there to help out musicians, which is such an important thing here in the community and for everybody who needs it. I'm glad they've had the benefit of it, but for everybody else out there that wants to contribute, these are the ways to help out. These are the shows that everybody wants to go to. These are the musicians that bring us that entertainment, and as you mentioned too, provide jobs for a lot of other people as well. So it's just important all around. And yeah, anything else that you two want to share?
No, thank you, Greg, for having us on, and Jeremy, I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't wait to see you too, Lael. Greg,
Yeah,
we really appreciate you giving us some coverage and come to Cover Your Hearts. It's a night of 80s guilty pleasure. So that's what we try
always
to
a great
promote it
time.
as.
All right, Jeremy Wilson, Lael Alderman, thank you very much for being here on Fox 12 Now.
Thanks again.
Right on.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
guys. And for everybody watching, again, this is part of what we do here at Fox 12 Now. We cover a lot of different events, different things that could be happening out in the community. Sometimes it's important breaking news. Sometimes it's talking about this, an important foundation and event that's going to be helping out a lot of people. So we appreciate you joining us here on the show. We do have more coming up. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you'll see this video end because I'm going to be over on the website and the apps with some extra stuff, but I'll be back in, let's see, what time is it? About 10 minutes. So I've got about 10 minutes from now, you'll see me back on Facebook and YouTube talking to Oregon State University. They have something called the Oregon Garden Challenge, where they're sending out seed kits and instructions about how to grow your own vegetables and fruits, and unlike me, not kill them. So actually be able to bring that in and have fresh food for yourself. So we're going to discuss that. There's a lot more to it. That's why we have the experts on to talk about that. So that's at 1:30 p.m. You want to join me back here for that. Otherwise, you can watch all of our other segments and everything on all those other platforms that I mentioned in the Fox 12 Oregon app. Always a great way to get that as well. So I am going to sign off for now. I'll see you over on the website and the apps. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.